You are now listening to the new Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time at BringDownTheBand.com, and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl, and Sun King Brewery. Support the new Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the new Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7. Entire crew is here, starting off with my man, the voice of Indianapolis, out in the clubs with his mask on, my man Jay Moore. How are you, sir?
Just like I was last week, I'm blessed and highly vaccinated, and just out here trying to live the best way I can. You know, I got my 1,200 steps in today, so you know we keeping healthy.
I see you out here. Back in the saddle again, my man DJ Jay Diff. What's happening, man?
Salutations. What's going on now?
Oh man, I can't call it. We missed you last week. We had brother 𝗡𝗲 filling in for you. Glad to see you back.
Appreciate it, man. That's a proper fill-in, though. You know, unfortunately today I'm not mic'd up properly, so if it's any sound discrepancies, I apologize in advance, but we gonna get it in regardless.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Which
We
is life.
appreciate you. And rounding out the squad as always, live from the Bring Down the Band headquarters, my man Lonegevity. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well and highly halfway vaccinated.
Highly halfway. I like that. Highly halfway vaccinated. Good to see you as always, my friend.
Yeah. Well,
Shout out to the chat. Everybody is in here. Well, we got Waffle House Pimp. I see you. David is in here. D Frog is in here. None better. I see CAD. The East Coast family. What's happening? The Flood. I see you. We appreciate y'all. Trey, I see you as well. So we're starting
Michael,
to do
you're the
something.
only one that don't got the chip right now.
Chip.
Oh, 5G.
Got the chip, the vaccine.
Yeah, I'm on deck though. I'm on deck.
What do you mean
Like,
you're
I'm
on deck? You just walk in and get the shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just going to take the time off.
You don't even have to get the appointment anymore. You just
halfway.
go in and get it.
Get my halfway
He
game
said
up.
I'm on deck.
Yeah, I just got a schedule. They giving us time too.
Scheduled or
Shit.
something.
I mean, shit,
Yeah,
me
they-
and Terry are talking right now, not even on here. So, I mean, you could be in that game.
Yes, sir. So yeah, I'm
Let's plug in.
chip. That's fun. All right, man. So we start a new thing where for our first segment of the show, we kind of toss it out to the crew that's in the chat, and they will decide what we talk about for the first segment. And I believe the winner for today, which is crazy, is aliens. How do we feel about aliens? So I don't know who to throw this to first because I want to catch this on as it comes around instead of starting this off. So I think I'm gonna go with Lone first. Lone, how do you feel about aliens?
How do I feel about aliens?
Yeah, this is the people. The people speak, man. They tell us what they want us to talk about.
I, in general, am somebody that just always errs on the side of I don't know. Like with
You
everything.
believe, brother? Do you believe?
I just don't know. Like, could there be
Okay.
aliens? Maybe, probably. But I don't like. I've never really gone down a crazy like alien wormhole.
Okay.
You know, and I've never like been that type of conspiracy theorist. I do think it's possible. I love alien movies. I love movies about space and shit. But if they exist or not, I don't know. I mean, octopus, octopi, they seem like aliens. You know,
Octopi.
we may be living amongst them without even knowing. So, I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah. We live amongst aliens.
Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Well.
The floor is yours.
Well, yeah. Like I said, we live amongst aliens. What Andre say? Alien can blend right on in with your kin.
Somebody
Look
said
again,
that.
because I swear I spot one every now and then. There's
Yep.
4 of us on the show. I guarantee you at least 3 of us are aliens. Not from here.
Okay.
But nah, I mean,
Extraterrestrial.
it's almost narcissistic to think that we're the only planet that has living beings that
Okay.
reside on it. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I feel about it. There has to be some other kind of life form out there that helps aid or does their own thing, their own way. Help aliens supposedly helped build the pyramids. They still ain't figured out how the pyramids got built. And all these years in technology and scientific whatever has been done since then, and nobody's can figure that shit out. Had to be aliens, man.
That's what
You
you're
want to see
gonna
some
roll
aliens?
with.
You gotta go down south though. When you down south, when you go down south, the sky looks totally different. Like I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but like here when you're around city lights, the sky is kind of it's black, but it's not down south black. And you'll be able to tell when you get down south. You can see the sky totally different. So if you was gonna see an alien or a spaceship or some shit like that, you gotta go down south. And when you talk to people down south, a lot of them will tell you they've seen some shit. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, that country sky definitely hit different. I'm with you there on that part. It definitely hit different.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's a different type of black.
100%. Jay Moore, man, talk to me, man. When last time you seen an alien?
Look, I work in these clubs and I see aliens every week. First of all, well, some of this is not about this earth. When you out here moving around, but on a real tip, I think it would, like Terry said, how do you look at every star and realize that every star has a solar system and think that, okay, for all those stars that we see in the sky and all the planets that surround those stars, there's not one that has a planet that could sustain life. There's got to be at least like the numbers are there for just the probability. Like it always kills me how people are still trying to go to Mars here, and I'm like, fam, like, there's nothing on Mars. They find like a little piece of ice or something to be like, oh, it must be somebody up there. No, it's either too hot, too cold. The gravitation, the pull is created. There's the whole atmosphere would be methane or something. Look, ain't no aliens up there. Nobody, because it's not sustainable for anybody to live. But like outside of the planets, once you get outside of Pluto and all the fly shit they got going on. Yeah, like we might have something else going on but look, I think a lot of times there might be some aliens and they get next to Earth and they get to see how we act down here. They'd be like, nah, we good.
They keep it moving. Okay.
Yeah, they roll up. Just like when you go through a bad neighborhood, you roll up your windows and lock your doors even though you're still moving. That's how aliens do when they pass by Earth.
Okay.
Not for real.
Right.
And then you gotta factor in too. All we know is our fucking solar system. So if the aliens they done made it all the way out they shit and they down fucking with our shit. So they eons ahead of us as far as smarts are concerned. So that when they see the type of bullshit we be on, they keep it moving, or some of them get caught up. They got some of them in what's that area? Area 51?
Yeah, Area 51.
Roswell, where they got all the weird shit. And I'm not about to debunk that they got some weird shit in there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these movies be fake, but they be real at the same time. Y'all remember in '98 when Enemy of the State came out, and we was like, there's no way all that shit's going on. Shit's all going on right now.
Yeah. Good movie, by the way. That's a good movie.
Some of these movies, it's a good movie. When you see some of this shit and they kind of hint around and stuff and be like, nah, that's fiction. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it's a hint of truth in that shit. You know
they're
what
like,
I'm saying?
there's no way they could just listen to you through your phone and your and look, Enemy of the State. Just think about how far technology has come since that movie came out, and you don't think they. Look, first of all, every time somebody get on FaceTime, I'm convinced, and once again, this is nothing but, I'm a conspiracy dude. I'll get into it with anybody who wants to. I'm convinced all that it is doing is uploading your face to facial recognition. Remember when it was doing Pokemon Go? That's how you know I'm old. I call it Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Everybody's walking around everybody was trying to catch Pokemons with their phone, and I'm convinced all that did was provide the government with an outline of your house. You know what I'm saying, and your movements during the course of the day. So, that's why you
couldn't find those Pokemons in the hood, though. You had to go elsewhere to find the good Pokemons.
Exactly.
Pokemons. Y'all stupid, man.
There wasn't one Pikachu on 38th Street.
Hell no.
Nah, man. I'm cool. I never searched for Pokemans. I missed that.
You could not find Charmander on Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Nah, I missed that.
Charizard.
Luther King Boulevard, in any city, state.
Yeah, I missed that wave. So I'm about to bow out on that conversation. But pretty much, I'm with Lone. Like, yeah, perhaps.
But just
pretty much
about
perhaps.
When you watch YouTube, and they show the commercials before YouTube.
Yeah,
like just think about it. Already knows to only like it already knows to play commercials for car dealerships near your house.
Yeah,
like it already knows based on your IP address, where you are. It doesn't give you commercials for anywhere that you aren't already close to. Just think about when you call the pizza. Just think about when you call the pizza man. This is going way back. You call the pizza man. You didn't tell him how to get to your house. He just showed up. He just showed up to your house with the pizza. He didn't ask you for directions or nothing. And this is going back to the 80s. They was doing this. So
yeah, I remember when pizza had the same phone number everywhere, 8767676.
Wow.
Didn't matter where you was at, you call that same phone number in the right.
I'm confused.
Your shit and get your pizza to you.
Wow.
I'm confused. Are you saying that because we have IP addresses and that and area codes that's because we have aliens? I'm confused.
It all comes back. See, brother, you got to see where it's coming from. All this is a conspiracy. It all leads back to Area 51. Come on now.
And Lone talking like he don't have like privilege and credentials to go into Area 51. We can't get in there. Lone can get in there. I know I can't get in there. Lone can get in there.
I think that's a far stretch to think Lone that associates himself with us has privilege to get into Area 51.
That associates himself with might be right there, brother. I have to stand corrected.
Yeah,
he does associate himself with us.
He would have had to have been one of them Skull and Bones type Harvard Ivy clad muffs that you know what I'm saying, probably don't listen to hip hop on the regular like that. They just do it at little fun parties and shindigs. But
I stand corrected. Yeah, he definitely couldn't be hanging out with us and then getting that pass or that badge. So fair enough. I stand corrected. And so I guess that will wrap up unless y'all got anything that I'm missing. We got some comments in here because y'all asked us to talk about it. So we do have some comments in the chat. The Flood says, are any of y'all concerned that if we did encounter aliens and they are a higher life form, aliens would enslave and what?
Slave or eradicate all the human race?
Eradicate. I'm sorry. I'm going blind. Eradicate the human race. What do y'all think?
That's why we got Space Force. We getting ready, y'all. The Decepticons and the Romulans and all of them, they on their way. That's why I have no problem with them funding Space Force so we can get some X-Wing fighters together and get
we got Death Star. We got Death Star.
Hey man,
we need some laser beams and some rail guns.
If Optimus and them is coming, if Optimus Prime and them is coming, I'm down.
Plasma rays.
These motherfuckers on Earth.
I'm definitely
can't get their shit together.
Yeah,
I need a proton pack.
I would do that. I would work for Megatron, honestly, if he came down here.
You would, because you hate everything associated with Optimus Prime, film related. So your ass would definitely be hating.
You trying to hang with them bum ass twins that was in the movies? The two bum ass mugs that they put in there.
Exactly, like the Decepticons had people turning radios and jet planes and.
Yo, I'm gonna say this like everybody.
Autobots had people who had gold teeth and.
Herps in the chat said NASA found 2,000 Earth-like planets in one small spot in the sky the size of a dime. That's a bar right there. Okay.
Yeah. So y'all just wait.
Movies.
All right. When the aliens get down here, I'm gonna sell out. I'm gonna be like, look, I know the people on Earth ain't shit. So
yo,
whatever y'all want to do.
How can I help?
I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can help. If the Klingons get down here, I'll be like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
Yo, the people in the chat, I'm gonna tell y'all, give y'all a tip. Y'all want to get Jay more riled up? Just follow him on Twitter. I want you to tweet to him and ask him how he feels about how those. I think it was the twins in the third.
It was the second
movie were cast. The second one, how they were cast and the voices. Just ask him that, and just watch the responses. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was some suspect casting and foolishness going on in that movie. All right.
Let's just say them twins and Jar Jar Binks are related somehow.
Yeah.
Man.
Step in and fetch it.
I hadn't cringed. I cringed a lot during that movie, and I was trying to watch it and just see how bad it was going to be, but I cringed a lot because of the twins. So
Misa thinks it's time for the next subject.
All right, man. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and jump into the first topic on deck. J. Cole dropped a joint. I don't know. Did y'all get a chance to hear that record by any chance? The interlude that he dropped?
Yep.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I like it. Nice little offering out the gate. A documentary that he dropped as well that I have not had a chance to see. It's called Applying Pressure, the off season. But there was a couple quotes that were pulled from that, and I still got to watch it because I've yet to hear somebody say they didn't like it. But this was in relation to him and features, which is something I was talking to my man Nate Jeezy about the other day, how he never really, does features, and is that a pro or a con as it relates to how his albums come out? Lone and I with Slot, we talked about it in the post show last week as well. But he says there's two things that I took from his comments. He says you want to look back and be like, you didn't want to work with nobody. You didn't have no songs with nobody, and you're not cool with that. No, okay, so let's start saying yes to some of these features. This is him in the documentary. And he also said it was like he was letting people know for this documentary, the off season, it's a boy and the fall off is coming. And all these are to say that he's getting ready to retire and that he's cool with it. He's at peace and he doesn't have any regrets. So it's kind of couple parts in there. One, his willingness to actually be able to do features now or want to start to say yes to those features. Like with him saying that he's cool with retiring and everything, I think I would be excited to hear him do more features. My question to y'all is, in terms of him saying he's comfortable with what he's done, do you guys think that's hurt his career? Do you think his career could have been enhanced had he done more features? Or, there are some people that are on the side that are just impressed that he rocked out by himself, produced the majority of the shit, rapped by himself, and, sold and did good numbers, put out good projects. Like, where do you guys sit with that, Lone? I'll come to you first, man. Like, do you think there was he left some food on the plate, or do you think everything went how it was supposed to go and you're cool with it?
I think he controlled his own narrative, and I think he didn't want to have features, and he didn't. I think that's perfectly fine. And as far from a career standpoint, like, what more could you really ask for? As he's highly successful. He puts out the music he wants to do. He produces his own work. He does features when he feels like it. I mean, he may get a little bit of he does catch the slack from not doing more features, but I perfectly think it's fine that he doesn't. I think we talked about this last week, but no, I don't think it's real. I personally don't think it's hurt him in the sense that, like, he's already reached a level of success. Mm-hmm. Like, anything that he's doing now is just stacking on top of it. So, I think he's already reached that point. Could he have more? Probably, but
do you think he would have been?
There can always be more, So
you sound like you think he would have been, just as successful. Like, even if he did the features, like, it wouldn't have, blown him up even more than where he is now, based off his level of success.
How much higher can J. Cole really get?
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean? Like, he's not like Drake level, but at the same time, like, he probably doesn't want to be like that. Not to take anything away from Drake or, to use my own random thoughts on that whole weird situation I just created. But, like, I don't know, man. I feel like he's successful in what he's done. And, like, I don't personally feel the need to, like, overly critique, like, where he's at right now, because he's already reached a level of success that most people just will never reach. So
agreed.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad with that. Jump in, Jay Diff.
Man, I think it's one of those situations where each one of us are our own worst critic. So he's sitting back looking at his career and he's picking it apart himself versus the us being fans or just casual listeners of his music and aren't necessarily thinking about features per se. I know I'm not. When I'm thinking about any artist, I'm really not thinking about who they jump on a record with. The only thing that the allure of like a Jay-Z and Nas record is because of their history and where they are in their life and how long, you know what I'm saying, they've been in the game. So, you welcome a Jay-Z Nas feature. Everybody's been wanting that J. Cole Kendrick feature, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, I'm really not too pressed to say he should have made features with other people. I think it's more for himself to maybe as a musical or a rhyme exercise, see how he holds his own against other rappers or artists, and just kind of personal trophies to hang on his mantle whenever he does decide to hang up his career. I think that's kind of more what it's about versus him trying to appease or please fans, so to speak.
Okay. I can dig it. Jump in there, Jay Moore.
I've always thought it's particularly smart business that he didn't have a lot of features, not only because you don't have to work out those splits with another artist, but when it's time to tour and when it's time to do your big hits, you don't need to have anybody else on stage, or you don't have to just do one verse of a song that's supposed to be yours, and then you hit the bomb on the mixer or whatever that you have generating sounds for your tour, and then you get out of it. There's a lot of people that can't tour because I don't want to say they can't tour, but they have to do these amended versions of their songs because you have 3 singles, all 3 of your singles have features on them, and the people that you have features from are not touring with you. J. Cole doesn't really have that issue, other than he's got a song with Missy Elliott doing the hook, and he's got a song with TLC doing the hook, but they don't have to be there to do the hooks. But when you might have somebody, but when you have people, if you have a 3-verse record and you got someone doing or if you got a 2-verse record and then you have a feature, because that's what it is now. Everybody's doing these short ass songs, and you have a guest feature for your second verse, then you can only do half the song. I think, like people always like to harken back to Nas, how AZ was the only feature on his on Illmatic. Really, he can if he wants to, he can perform Illmatic all by himself. You know what I'm saying?
And not miss a beat though.
And so I think that's what it used to be when you got a feature on a hip hop record, that was something really special. I remember when how excited I was as a hip hop fan when Ice Cube and Big Daddy Kane were on Public Enemy's Burn Hollywood Burn. Like that was a big deal, because you just didn't have everybody didn't work with each other. A posse cut was something that was still very special. LL Cool J didn't have everybody on his records. Rakim, there wasn't all these collaborations between artists. So I remember it was a big deal. A lot of that shit
back then, like not to cut you off, but a lot of that shit back then too was record label shit. They weren't
that too, but
good point. Good point.
Like that.
People on the same label. Like I remember when LL Cool J was on EPMD's Rampage, but there was something going on to where he wasn't in the video. It was a big deal to have collaborations. And now it's not a big deal. Like everybody's on everybody's album. Everybody's friends, and like not saying I'm mad at people, being able to work together and get money together, but I just come from an era where, if you had, like when Nice and Smooth hopped on Dwick with Gangstar, like that was a moment in culture that meant a lot. When you would hear, maybe Q-Tip jump on something with De La Soul or, something like that. Like once again, posse cuts don't mean what they mean to this generation.
I don't even know if it's gonna go back. I don't even know if it's gonna go back to that. From a posse cut standpoint, I used to get excited about that when I was younger. In terms of J. Cole, though, for me, I guess just the selfish fan in me always is just, I guess I'll be left curious about what some of those features could have been. don't think it's a necessity from a career enhancement standpoint. Like to Lone's point, he gonna beat J. Cole regardless. It's just
As a fan,
some of the ones that it's just as a fan, I'm looking at like, damn, if he'd have done the EP with Kendrick, or damn, if he'd have had, I don't know, whoever featured on a hook like BJ the Chicago Kid or Raheem Devon or something like that, like on joints that he was actually singing the hook on, like those types of combinations where I just get a little curious, like, damn, what would that have sounded like?
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and again,
I
that's
can
just strictly from a fan
at the same
standpoint.
time, though.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, at the same time, I'm happy that he didn't pour himself out, so to speak. You have certain artists, they jump on any and everything. All you gotta do is send them payment and they jumping on your album. I don't know how many people's budget allowed them for Drake to have them on the opening song to jump off their career. The only artist that actually helped and didn't hinder is Lil Baby. He's the only artist that I can actually think of whose first single featured Drake, and he's still here ripping and running, doing his own thing. And now Drake has to call him for a feature, to be honest with you. At the end of the day.
Yeah. I think that's a good call, Terry, because it didn't bury him. Like he still was able to, you know, just ride the wave on that and turn and continue to advance his career. Sometimes you get features like that, man. And you know, I'm not gonna say this situation buried him, but we just talked about before we came on, we talked about Isaiah Rashad, you know, and Duke Deuce. It's like I heard that record, I'm like, damn, Duke Deuce killed that. The production was set and it was in the pocket for him. Everything was set up for him to shine, and he shined way more than Isaiah Rashad did on that record. You know what I mean? Like, just came off dope. So
there's partly because
that's a good point about the Baby.
Hated to him, and then like we talked about how they set him up almost for that to where you're expecting more, but then it's like, oh, Isaiah Rashad featuring Duke Deuce. So I mean, it's a good track, but it's just not what everybody was looking for. But in another essence of speaking on artists feature with each other, how many people talk about them 2 albums that Jay-Z and R. Kelly dropped?
I don't.
Well, there are a lot of reasons we don't talk about those albums.
Well, not even before that.
Even
shit
before that,
off.
though.
Even
I wasn't talking about them before that.
How many times were we like super excited, or was like, them R. Kelly and Jay-Z albums was just
no, you're right.
I never was hype about those. And one of them.
I don't think I've heard them.
You ain't missing too much.
See, I remember buying tickets. Remember when Jay-Z and R. Kelly was going on tour, and they ended up canceling the tour? I bought tickets to that.
Yeah, that it's like they did the joint with we was talking about his catalog post show. Linkin Park, was it Linkin Park?
Yeah.
Collab joint, like all collabs ain't dope collabs. I will say that.
Exactly.
So to J. Cole's point,
I hated that because first of all, you had all these dope people remix your album, and you go and do some shit. Like, I understand from a marketing standpoint what it is. It's like, oh, we can get that audience to mess with Jay-Z songs, but I'm like, I remember, what was it? I want to say Kev Brown, the Brown album. That was one of my favorites from that era.
Mm-hmm.
All these people did remixes.
The Gray album
for the Black. The Black. All these people did remixes, and you went and got, like, if Jay-Z would have commissioned like the best of the Black album remixes, that would have been one of the most incredible projects ever. But then he goes and has Linkin Park, and I'm like, man, get this shit out of here.
Yeah, Danger Mouse, I believe, did the Gray
album. Yeah, I remember that call. That was controversial because, you know, the Beatles, they was like, get all this shit out the stores.
I need that bread.
And you know what? I didn't think the Gray album was that great. I really didn't.
It was
like
cool.
Ninth.
Hey, so we're going to be raffling off the Gray album.
There it is.
For our patrons.
Oh, the Gray album's awesome.
You have a collector's item. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
That's funny.
Thanks, Long.
We're literally going to be raffling this off for next month for our patrons. So.
Ninth did good. I like Ninth. He did good with his. I remember when his came out. That one was cool. Had some heat on there. But
what about the Spectrum album?
Oh, mine is an underground classic though. I ain't had the push.
I still have it.
I was a broke college student. Yeah, mine ain't good. I ain't had a backing, but
Oh, and also shout out to my man. He was DJ Needles at the time, but my man James Biko, the Jacked album. Like I remember running that, not just because that was my man, but it was a nice project. You know, if you were in St. Louis at the time, you might have a copy. So get involved.
Yeah. So to sum this topic up, every feature, all features ain't great. You know, from a producer standpoint, I can also give him keys for, you know, having the ability to make a dope project with him doing the majority of the production and the writing and the singing and making it make sense. Like that shit ain't easy, man. You know, you got a handful of people that can pull that off. Crit being another one. So salute to J. Cole, man. I can't wait to see this documentary. It's dope hearing him say he's at peace with retiring. But we know how rappers do. Mess around, come out with another album or something down the road. But it is what it is. I definitely want to check that documentary out. So shout out to J. Cole, man. I'm excited to hear what he puts out with this next project. Let's go ahead and go to next topic here. Shout out to the chat. We see you. We appreciate you for rocking with us. If you're in here and you lurking, that's cool, but we'd love to see who you are. Throw us a line in here if you get a chance. I don't know what the number says, but I know it's people in here, so we appreciate you. I saw this one yesterday when I was setting up the show. This one came from Teddy Payne, and he was on Twitter. What I've always called the pie chart, just for when I talk about Dipset. You know, what is the percentage of their music do you like? Is it the majority about the beat? Shout out to the heat makers, or is it the lyrics? And I used to piss all of my friends off because I'd be like, it's 80-20 production over the lyrics because they really want to talk about shit. No, we get to arguing in the car and all that type of stuff. I had friends that force-fed me Dipset, so that's why I don't like them to this day. They're probably good guys. That's the reason I don't like them to this day.
They're probably good people.
But T-Pain, they're probably good people though. But T-Pain made a couple tweets, man, and you know, it started to make his rounds on Twitter. So I'm gonna hit the two quotes that he put up, and then we can kind of talk about it. It says the producers are the ones that deserve all the clout because y'all really don't be liking these songs. Y'all really just like the beats. You hear a certain producer's tag, you don't give a fuck who's on it because you know gon' like the beat. Just give them their flowers for real. He says, notice I said y'all don't like these songs. Y'all know what fucking songs I'm talking about. If I was talking about any other era, I would have said those songs. They're on the same page, but y'all ain't reading between lines, I think is what he meant to say. You feel me? So when he said this, it's caught my eye because I believe I actually agree. Today, at today's date or in time, I believe that he's 100% correct. That production drives the records, at least from a mainstream standpoint. More you out in the club, so I know you know how things ring off. But I 100% agree with him that the production is the driving force in today's music on the mainstream level. And I do think people get attached to producers and learn tags, and you know. Some of the fans are smarter than I believe I give them credit for. They become familiar with producers and who did what for what. It might not be a CD jacket anymore or any of that, but people are out there doing their research and looking for produced by who and all that. So I still think there's a area of people that do that. But in my opinion, I think he's 100% spot on. Now, again, I could be wrong. I don't listen to the radio a lot, but it was me based off what I hear when I do listen. I think he's 100% right. Jay Diff, jump in there, man. What you think? Does he have a point? Are the beats driving the music today?
I mean, it's all a matter of putting in the context as far as what pocket we're talking about. When we're talking about is the beat the only thing that's driving force. And when you talk about popular culture, or the more popular music, I would definitely say the beat and the hook probably provide a little more of the context of why people mess with the song and they don't really care about the content per se. I mean, a lot of the most popular songs on the radio right now are talking about killing people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And people are doing TikTok dances and and all kind of shit to
shooting
the
guns
top
in a
songs talking
routine though.
about pretty much, yeah, killing people. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's talking about killing people. And those are the top songs out right now. But I mean, I agree with him to a certain extent because I mean, you have people like Hit Boy, who's had a phenomenal run, but Hit Boy is also working with phenomenal artists now too. So you have to put that context that these artists that he's working with, you actually want to hear from these artists.
It's a good
At the
touche.
same time, he's one of the best. He's one of the most popular producers out there right now. We actually talked about Madlib as far as how he can help artists or make artists more listenable. And to me personally, I think he brings out a little something out of these artists. And it's not necessarily that you just want to hear the beat. I feel like that he just does something that makes them maybe rap better. I don't know. And a lot of people probably don't even know who Madlib is. But he's another one of those producers, I think. When you talk about the more mainstream producers and the more mainstream songs that are more popular, I probably can agree that it is a little clouded by just the beat. But I listen to music differently, so I don't know.
I can dig it. Lone, jump in there, man. What do you think about what Teddy Payne said? Does he have a point? Make
When
beats.
is
good ones too.
When have the beats music not driven the music though?
I don't think it would be just my personal opinion. I don't think it is as lopsided when I was a kid as it would be now. That's just my personal opinion. I bias. I love the beats. I think I'm trying to find an example. Like, okay, I'll give you a prime example. When I first heard Cream, Wu-Tang, like I thought the beat was cold. Like the beat was so cold. I kept saying Inspector Deck's part over and over again. Like how it come on and how it start. Like it started listening to the bars. Like it was both. It was like the beat was cold. I like how they brought it on, but those bars also resonated as well. It was a part of the whole experience for me.
Well, let me ask you guys this question. When have you ever listened to a song and enjoyed it when the beat and the music was trash? Versus when have you listened to a song when the beat and the music was good, but everything that was being said was trash? The beat always drives the music. The beat and the music always drives everything.
I mean, it drives it, but I'll put it to you this way with your second example. If the beat is dope and the lyrics is trash, the time is starting to tick on me how long I'm going to listen to it. That's the way I listen to music.
That's fair. That's fair,
though, right? Like
that's fair.
That's just me. But I feel where you're going though. I don't think you're wrong. I feel where you're going
because there's so much involved in like I think we're kind of making this like kind of a black and white thing, but it's really gray because it's not just like songwriting and a beat. It's also the musicality. It's how it makes us feel. It's what like the chants and the hook is doing, like what Terry kind of mentioned. There's so many things, but in my opinion, and I've felt this way for a very long time, like, and I tell this to my students, like, like nobody's going to want to listen to your music if your drums suck, right? Depending on like what genre you're making. If you're making hip hop and your drums suck, then your song sucks. It's just what it is, so get better at that. Your rhythm section is typically the most important part. And so like, the way that our brains work and the way that our brains fiend for repetition and loops and stuff like that. If the loop that we're hearing, if the musicality that we're hearing, the repetition is not good, it's going to be hard for most of us to listen through it. And I'm a perfect example. I don't listen to the actual thing that people are saying. Like you have to cross like 6 different things off a checklist for me to even get to pay attention to what you're saying. That's just how it is. And so, I don't know. I guess for this, I guess for what T-Pain's saying, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, like I think he's right. Like I really think he's right. Like I think he's on it. And I always say this, and can relate. We all listen to music differently, but Lone, what you said, I know exactly what you're talking about when you say 5 or 6 things that you check off. I can't turn that shit off. That's embedded in me now.
Right.
It's just from making music for so long, right? So I have to listen to it that way.
It's even more even worse, and I don't even mean to compare the two, but Terry can relate. It's also different when one making music, but also when you have to critique music. Like when you're a blogger for 10 years and you have to listen to music, a lot of music. It's just you get into a habit of listening to music a specific way, and it just you check things off of a list, and if you don't meet them, then if you have like 100 songs to go through, if they don't meet 3 of them, you're gonna go on to the next one. So it's like
that part I can't relate to. I don't know that part. I'm just talking what y'all talking about. That's a whole nother level that I can't.
I'm
relate
happy.
to.
I'm happy that you can't, and it's not something that I wish on people.
Yeah.
It actually sucks. But
I can't relate to that part. But my quote unquote producer ears are my biggest curse, because I swear, man, I'll cut something off so damn fast, and it ain't fair. And I'm just telling y'all that's just the truth. Jay Moore, jump in, man. Teddy Payne got a point.
He does to an extent, because like I said, coming from the world of radio and records, I've always told people, this is how when you want to ask me about a particular record, depending on the conditions under which you're asking me, don't ask me if I like it. Ask me if I think it'll work. Because if you ask me if I like it, I'll be like, nah, that shit is terrible. But then you could ask me, do you think it'll work? I'll be like, oh, this is going to be a #1 hit. When the first time I don't particularly like 𝗀𝗄 𝗢𝗍's, Back It In Blood or Take It In Blood, whatever the name of that record is with Lil Durk. I don't think it's a particularly great record, but when I heard it, I was like, this is going to be a hit. And when it gets played in the clubs, not only do they go crazy when they hear the beat, but there are parts when I try to talk to young DJs, this is something I call dropouts, to where you pull your fader down and you let the crowd sing along. And that brings it brings a certain energy into the crowd, and they know it's crazy. They know those lyrics.
Yeah.
Sometimes
though.
you can I mean, that's what it is to be a hit song, when you have this incredible production. The beat is fantastic. The beat is fire. Yeah. And then you have lyrics. I mean, sometimes they be trash, but at the same time, they connect on an emotional level with the audience. Yep. And so, because sometimes I'll hear a song that I've heard for the 100th time, and I'm realizing I just now listened to the lyrics of the song. Yeah. Yep. Like there was a Gucci Mane song, Lemonade. I remember, because we played that, especially when we were doing OMG. Like, this is for my Indiana people. OMG at the Casbah. That song still rings off. And I'll just remember, it was one day I was listening to it on the radio, and it was the first time I listened to the actual lyrics, and it made me laugh because Gucci was like, use a yellow back, AK hit your dog, now you can't bring old yellow back. Like, I'd heard that at least 200 times, but it just hit me that day what he was saying, because the beat was so overwhelming that I was hardly listening to anything that he actually said. And I was like, that was kind of clever and funny all at the same time. But there's sometimes I hear something that's clever and funny, but I don't hear it until until I've heard the song 100 times, because the beat is so much what drives the song. So I think T-Pain has a point, but you know what? Like, I think I can't remember what somebody said, where, Lone had said, you can hear a song where it'd be like, man, this motherfucker is barely rapping, but this beat is incredible. And that's kind of where we are today. Yeah. And I'm not mad at it, because that's just where the culture is. And sometimes you go back, it's not even about hip hop. You can listen to, just like when we broke down Mint Condition last week, and when we talked about Pretty Brown Eyes, which is basically a stalker's anthem, but here you go. The music was so crazy that we didn't break down the fact that this young lady wanted to be left alone, and he kept bothering her on her day off. Hey,
Stokely's voice covered all that up.
On her day off.
That's how good the music was from Mint Condition. So I mean, that's just what it is.
That's a lot of that.
Like I said, I don't think T-Pain is wrong at all.
Lone, you know what? I got a prime example for you, Lone.
80s, 90s music.
Lone, I'll tell you where I'm guilty. You're gonna notice as soon as I say it. You know that song? I think it's called "Bitch I Might Be," the Suff Daddy remix.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When I heard that, it breathed a whole new life into that Gucci record that I damn sure know, and I can admit that I would not have paid attention to.
Yeah.
When I heard his remix, I was like, "Yo, the fact that he put that type of production over Gucci and made that shit work made me forget about the original. Like I don't even know what the original sound like no more.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it probably is.
I mean,
I
like,
remember hearing it a couple times, didn't care about it.
And when I
It's
say
not
horrible,
that
I just mean like it sounds like 2006. Like it sounds like when it came out. Like it doesn't sound
You know what
good.
I'm talking about.
You know how things don't
That
age
shit
well.
still go.
It didn't age.
Yeah, it's still going though. It's still going. And you know another place where you can hear music totally different. And this is how a lot of people was getting on. If you hear a song at the strip club versus hearing it somewhere else, it'll hit totally different. You'll be like, wow, okay, I get it now.
Right.
You know what I'm
For sure.
saying?
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah.
there are plenty of records. To your point, you know, there's certain joints where it's like, man, I don't know, but if you get to that barbecue, you know, you got that plate of you got that fish fresh out the grease and everything is good. It's like, yeah, this makes sense now. I see where they were going when they made it. It just hits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I think we're all guilty of across the board. We're guilty of, and I think it's just the human condition, but of like kind of judging music on like this big grandiose scale. Like it's one size fit all, but there's so many different applications for listening to music depending on moods and where you're at and all this other stuff. And you know,
I'm openly 100% openly Duke Deuce fan. I like Duke Deuce. I don't know why I can't put my hand on it just yet. Jerry asked me about that a while back. I don't fuck with Duke Deuce. I like him. Like I know he can rap, and he always shows love to the OGs in Memphis. He trying to bring that legit Memphis sound back. I just like that kid, man. I like his energy too.
right.
So I don't know if you want to call that a vice, but I fuck with him.
He looked like he had fun.
Yeah, like I fuck with young fella. I like it. I'm a fan. Like I fucks with Duke Deuce. All right, man. Long, do we want to do some partners real quick before we do the third topic?
Yeah, let's do that real quick.
We'd like to thank our partners, New Old Heads Podcast, No Bad Ideas Clothing Company, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl, Sun King Brewery, and the hub for all things New Old Heads, BringingDownTheBand.com. Remember, once you type Bringing Down the Band in the search bar on YouTube and the page populates, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And as always, we thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
Out.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all in the chat. Excuse that cursing that Jay Moore was doing on the break there. We ain't gonna talk about that. You know, we had to let him vent real quick. He's all right though. He's all right. Let's go ahead and go into this third topic before we get out of here. Lone actually love saying this because I don't have a desk because I'm working at home. Well, not that type of desk, but this came across my desk right before we decided to go live. From Mr. Donald Glover, Mr. Atlanta, Mr. Childish Gambino, and it's in relation to film and TV creators. It says Donald Glover's tweets about film and TV creators got fans confused, and he says, I saw people on here having a discussion about how tired they were about reviewing boring stuff, in parentheses TV and film. We're getting boring stuff and not even experimental mistakes because people are afraid of getting canceled. So they feel like they can only experiment with aesthetic. Also because some of them know not that good. So cancel culture is something that we've talked about in various forms or whatever. At some point throughout, the duration of the podcast, it's come up multiple times. And I know you brought this one to the table. Was your point? I'm thinking about how this applies to creativity of a musical artist. Were you thinking it was just the same thing could be applied to a musician, or or is it just creatives across the board?
I just thought it was a better topic than talking about DJ Khaled, to be honest.
Well, I'll take that too. Yeah, I'll take that too.
There you have it.
With you when you write, brother. Yeah,
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting because I had just watched something earlier in the day too about Dave Chappelle and Louis C.K. talking about being canceled as comedians, and then this article came up, and I just thought it was interesting that he said that, you know, creators are afraid of cancellation. Now, what that means that's not necessarily the part that I'm overly interested about. It's the claims of boring art aspect of it. So, I mean, I guess they're obviously tied together, but the fact that creatives, even if we think of like Hollywood related things, like we're seeing so many like remakes of movies that have kind of worked in the past because people don't apparently have new ideas, but we know that's not the case, right? We know that there are plenty of ideas. It's just people don't want to take the risk. I do think that at the same time that he's got some merit in saying that, you know, creators are afraid of being canceled. Maybe they won't say something that they're, I don't know. It's a fickle business. So, I mean, I didn't have any like pristine, like, you know, spectacular insights on this. I just thought it was interesting. Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting take, and that I actually agreed with. So,
let me ask you this, Lone, before I get to the rest of the fellas. I know we got to get out of here. On the topic of cancel culture, right?
Okay.
Fast forward 808s and heartbreaks, 2021. How was that creative reach, quote unquote, received?
I'm the last person to talk to because I don't know that album. So,
oh man, you could tell me where you at? Jay Diff, you listen to 808s, right?
I actually just listened to 808.
It came out. You remember?
It's last week.
Okay, so you remember what the vibe was when he first performed "Love Lockdown," right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? So how do you think that would be received now? The cancelers come out and be like, "What the hell is he doing? This shit is weird. I don't know what Kanye is thinking about." You know what I mean? Like that's a huge
mild.
Creative risk.
I mean that's mild. Honestly, if we're talking about shit that people are getting canceled over, the lyrics on.
I'm talking about musically
Lockdown,
now, not.
Are you saying the whole album as a vibe?
The whole
itself,
album, the whole concept of it.
Listen, I think that album came out at the perfect time. I don't know if I could necessarily place it right now. I don't think it would hurt or harm anything though. But as far as being canceled, I don't think that's not a good choice personally. I don't think as far as an album that could have possibly been canceled.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, when we're talking about what Donald Glover is speaking on Childish Gambino, I understand what he's saying, because I think a lot of these people and comedians and producers are kind of toting the rope, scared to come up with things and scared to say things a certain way based on cancel culture and people being overly sensitive to certain things and certain topics. So I think it
applies to music too, though. That's I guess that's what I'm saying. I think it applies to. You don't think it does?
I think it definitely applies.
Do whatever you want in hip hop.
I'm saying I don't think that particular album. I don't think that album counts as something that it would apply to.
Maybe okay. So that album is a bad example.
Like,
I got you.
Yeah, if I want to make a song,
it's a terrible example of cancel culture.
If I want to make a song about how reverse racism, which isn't a thing, but if I wanted to make a song about it, then it's going to be scrutinized in a specific way, right? I feel like, I do think it's a lot different though. I do feel like the mediums are a lot different. Yeah, I think it's more so like the music aspect is mostly based around the specific subject matter of specific types of artists. But to Jay's point, like you really can say almost anything in hip hop and get away with it.
Okay.
Yeah, the difference with music and television and acting and things like that is a musician can say something today and be so cast out as canceled, and they can make another album next week. and it doesn't matter. And whoever wants to pick it up can pick it up. But as far as when it comes to acting and being in shows and things like that, you can do some shit and nobody's going to hire you. You have to be hired to work in Hollywood and do these movies because you're not writing the movies and acting in the movies unless you're Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's other people that do it too, but at the same time, other people are going to have to want to work with you. They don't want to feel like they're going to
Right.
get alienated for working with you. Just like Aziz Ansari, who dropped one of the dopest TV shows with Master of None.
Yep.
You haven't seen a new season of that shit until it's about to come out now.
He's not even going to be a main character
because of some. That's crazy, but it pretty much stopped everything that was going on that because somebody allegedly said something that he did, and he was never convicted or found guilty of any of that shit. But it still lingers based on cancel culture and people wanting to get something out of these artists. And I'm not saying that these people aren't doing things, but at the same time, there is a lot of people that are overly sensitive to a lot of things based on bad experiences. So they just group everything all in the same thing or in the same cup.
Look, there's no such, there's really
down.
There's really no such thing as cancel culture. There is pause culture to where, okay, you gotta, or timeout culture. You gotta chill for a minute. But then, if you're talented enough, you're gonna get to come back. Aziz Ansari, I mean, he had to address what happened, but he still got another Netflix special. His show is coming back.
Ain't gonna
the only person that's
it's been 4 years.
The only person there's only been 2 people that's been canceled. I think
completely canceled.
No, I only say one. I was gonna say Bill Cosby and R. Kelly, but really it's just R. Kelly because I can still watch the Cosby Show and A Different World on Amazon.
I see yesterday.
Enjoy them thoroughly. R. Kelly, like DJs play his music, and there are people who are like, "Really? Is that what you're doing right now?"
Facts.
Like, I mean, mind you, his music is about his crime, so that's what that is. But you know how hard it is to actually cancel. Like, even with somebody like Louis C.K., there are people who are like, when they look at it, be like, okay, it was messed up that he pulled his dick out in front of some people. But I've even heard women say this. It was like, who've said like those women need to grow up. I mean, like who have been through actual sexual assault, and were like, so what? He pulled his dick out in front of you. Like that's bad, but like please stop acting like it's the end of the world.
He still ain't working.
Very hard.
Still ain't
like,
working.
Look, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Do you realize like there had to be a Capitol riot and police officers had to get killed before they thought about canceling Donald Trump? So like, don't tell me about canceling anybody else. How could he cancel?
I mean, he
Donald
was at the end of his.
and he's not canceled now.
Matter. He still ain't canceled.
Yeah, so get out of here. Talking about cancel culture.
Y'all have really
they gonna cancel what they want to cancel. Just like Pee Wee Herman got canceled for a nice amount of time until the movie with Johnny Depp came out, and he was like, "Damn, Pee Wee Herman is playing a drug dealer in this movie."
The character Pee Wee Herman was canceled, but I remember even after he got, and first of all, he was in a porno movie theater. What was he supposed to be doing? They was just mad because it was Pee Wee Herman doing it. And the thing is, I remember he came out. He was out at MTV Movie Awards that maybe 3 or 4 months later, talking about, "Hey, heard any good jokes lately?" Like, there's no, like I said, everybody overstates what cancel culture is. There is pause and timeout culture, but everybody, barring you really doing something to underage girls, you get to come back. Like, think about Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was on trial for murder. 3 years later, he was on a cover of John Madden Football.
Oh, check this out, though. Check this out. I want to thank y'all for illustrating and showing me how awful that comparison was that I said for Mr. West. Because y'all each broke it down to let me know that was a terrible choice. So I appreciate y'all for bringing me on back home. I'm just trying to tie the music thing in, but that wasn't the album because content on there is nowhere near the shit that y'all talking about. So yes, I will go ahead and hold the L for that one. But nah, man, like it's when Jay Moore starts saying he can do anything and rap.
Snoop Dogg got a song on Rhythm and Gangster called "You Gotta Control Your Hoe."
X.
And you brought up 808
It's towards the back
and
end.
Heartbreak as something that
Once again, he was talking about Snoop Dogg, who was up on murder charges, and he is the most successful pitchman in the history of hip hop.
I swear he on Triller doing celebrity boxing announcing. And
the thing about cancel culture is you're actually only going to get canceled for doing certain types of crimes or being accused of certain type of crimes. Murder isn't one of them.
Accused is a good word.
Because you got Ray Lewis and you got Snoop Dogg. You got all kind of people that have been acquitted or involved in some kind of murderous act, and they never were canceled in the first place. Think about it.
Mike Tyson
has to be some kind of sexual misconduct.
Rape. Mike Tyson was convicted of rape, and he's still out here. I mean, most people like myself don't believe he actually did what they accused him of doing. And that's part of. But Mike Tyson was on The View. Here is a talk show with all women, and they're laughing and smiling with Mike Tyson, even though he's a convicted rapist.
It's a fact.
Cancel culture
is not real.
Though cancel culture is new. Cancel culture is pretty much new. He did that shit in the early 90s, and he served his time, and now he back out here doing what he do. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, that's the way it should work.
If Bill Cosby had been convicted of his, if he had been convicted of his shit in like the 80s or 90s and served his time back then, and then came back out here and went on a I'm sorry, Chitlin Circuit review or whatever the fuck.
I gotta be why I gotta be Chitlin Circuit?
He'll be out here too.
I'm telling you right now,
there
are enough people who think Bill Cosby was railroaded that if he gets out of jail and he says, I'm going on tour, Bill Cosby gonna sell out the motherfucking arenas that wherever he goes.
Just had to say Chitlin Circuit.
Boosie will open up for him.
I'll fuck around and go see Bill Cosby. I don't care what none of y'all said.
You know what? No. We have to be able to accept when people like are punished for their crimes. They should be allowed to come back into society at some point, shouldn't they?
I mean, I feel
that's what it's supposed to mean.
I got to supposed to be about Michael Vick. I was like, he did 2 years in federal prison for killing
fighting
for dogs, and then also that makes me feel some type of way because there are people who get no time in any type of prison for killing black people. So I don't want to hear about no dogs, even though I love dogs.
Don't get me started on that. That shit was stupid.
This is where we need to stop because I get to really telling these.
Yeah, we ain't gonna go down that road because don't get me started. Don't get me started on Michael Vick going to jail for 2 years over no damn dog fight.
Plus, I'm one of those people that still don't believe Michael Vick did nothing wrong. It was because he had some weak ass individuals around him. And they didn't understand when Big Dog go down, for lack of a better term, we all go down. Like they pulled over one of Michael Vick's homies who was on Hood Scholarship. This is what happens when you got people around you and they not doing nothing. You just paying them. And like he had a little weed in the car, and instead of just taking the weed charge, he was like, but Michael Vick be
fighting them dogs.
Yeah,
that's that bullshit.
It was like, fam, if you'd have kept your mouth shut, we could have kept the gravy train running. But you not thorough like that.
Yeah, so Mike had to sit down. All right, man. Let's
hurry up and finish this up before the new old heads get canceled.
Yeah, I ain't gonna get started on that, y'all.
It doesn't matter. We won't actually get canceled. So
yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yo, we appreciate everybody that rocked with us in the chat tonight. Perps, I see you. None better. Appreciate the comments. The flood. CAD was in here as well. D Frog, we appreciate you as always. Waffle House Pimp. I think I got everybody that was in here. CAD, I see you as well. Make sure y'all check us out on the Patreon / New Old Head. Oh yeah, shout out to Trey. Check us out on Patreon / New Old Heads. We got a couple options up there. $3, $6. Well, $6 actually for the options for per month membership levels. So go in there and check those out. No Bad Ideas Squad, Indie CD and Vinyl Squad, and the NOHOG Squad as well.
Lots more too.
Check that out. Yep, and follow us on YouTube. We'll post a link in the comments because the move is gonna happen on June 1st. So we appreciate the support as always, and stick around a little bit for the post show. See y'all next week. Peace.